Hello everybody, today I'm talking about a highly anticipated freeware project for Microsoft Flight Sim on the PC, the Digital Flight Dynamics A350. We've received a second video update going in depth into this aircraft, so let's see how it's updated since we last talked about it. Let's see how good the progress is. In today's video I'll be talking about it, but before we get into it, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. But without further delay, let's get right into it. Okay, so you can find the highly informative video that I'm using as the source for most of the information in this video down below. You can also find the Discord to stay up to date with Digital Flight Dynamics. A bit of background about this video. Now this is the second Digital Flight Dynamics Discover 350 episode on YouTube. If you haven't heard of Digital Flight Dynamics before, it's a development team working on the A350X or their A350X. Now they're working on a highly realistic A350. I believe it's the 1000 variant they'll be doing first, with the option for the 900 and 800 variant down the line. And they're trying to make it as realistic as physically possible. Of course, the fact that AIRBUS have recently released its aircraft in some variants, and it's one of the newer aircraft out there, does mean that some files to ensure the highest possible realism are scarce. Most of today's video will be dedicated to 3D modelling. Now to talk about the video, they say that progress has slowed down a little bit in terms of modelling. Basically it's slowed down due to a lack of structure within Digital Flight Dynamics, but since February they fixed this, so they're now progressing on at a better rate. They're getting things done. Now although we're not necessarily talking about systems in this case, they're saying that the modelling side of the project is now on the same sort of speed as systems are. Which is very promising because it means by the time this is done, hopefully systems should be done. So I'm glad they've got organised. Now let's talk about the cockpit. Now the cockpit section of the video was done by Marcel and Sebastian, who went into significant detail. There's been a massive update since the last time we looked at the cockpit of this aircraft. Let's look at the render here. It's very impressive. Now the progress here has been because they're working with people who have got close links to the A350 in real life, so they've been able to source real life measurements. Now I've said it before on the channel, but what makes a great project in terms of aircraft is when they can get up close and personal with the real aircraft. We saw it with the Aerodynamics KC-10. This is how you win in terms of payware or freeware. So the cockpit as a whole has seen a significant update. Now moving down to the pedestal, as you can see from the photos and videos on the screen right now, it looks really good. Clearly work has been going on well here. Now we are talking about the modelling more rather than the textures and sort of decals on it. They haven't been done completely yet. They're really focusing on getting the modelling 100% correct. Of course, because in the Airbus cockpit, especially with the A350, a lot of knobs are reused, a lot of shapes of the knobs, switches and buttons are reused, so it's very important to get it right. As you can see here with the A350's distinctive keyboard and mouse cursor, they're really aiming on getting the modelling 100% bang on. As you can see in the grooves, in the little keys, it's very important to get it right, certainly for them. Now moving on to the throttle has been redone, hopefully making it look better. I don't know, what do you guys think? I'd say it looks pretty realistic. I think you can't really judge until you get textures on there. I think textures and decals add some sort of proportion to it and allow me to compare it to real life better. That's just my thoughts. You of course might have your thoughts, and if you do, be sure to put them down below. But the throttle looks pretty good, certainly the right shape. It looks like an Airbus A350 throttle, so what else can be said? Good work here. Now moving down to the radio management panel, I think this looks pretty good. As I said when talking about the keyboard and cursor, it's very important to get each individual key correct because they are different, although they look quite similar because of course they're keys on a keyboard. There's different grooves because it's very important to get the tactile feel in a cockpit just so you know where everything is. And by the looks of it, they're getting this bang on right. The overall theme of the cockpit is that it's seen a big overhaul since the last time we looked at it, and I think it's really paid off. Now moving on to an interesting part of the cockpit that I guess is just as vital as a yoke for pilots, exaggerating there slightly, is the tray table. You know, you want to be able to drink your coffee, although I think in the A350 they've actually banned hot drinks in the cockpit after it kept getting spilt over the kind of cursor and mouse area or wherever it was down there. So a tray table is very important, and although this is early days in terms of development of the tray table, it looks good. Now the most important bit in the Airbus cockpit, the side stick, I'd have to say is looking great. They've really got the modelling bang on here. Just from looking at it, although they haven't put textures or decals on it just yet, it looks really awesome. They've really got the shape right here, and it's certainly one of the most important bits in the cockpit to get right. You know, a lot of the times we look at payware aircraft and the yoke looks a bit funny, or the side stick looks a bit funny, especially if it's been ported over from a previous simulator. So it's certainly very important that they get this right, and I think they certainly have here. Now moving up to the final bit in the cockpit, the glare shield with the Airbus A350's distinctive document holder. It looks good modelling wise. I can't really talk about textures and decals as we've already said, but overall I'd say cockpit progress has been strong, it's been significant, and it's been more than acceptable. You know, most of this cockpit, as soon as you put some textures in and get some screens playing, it looks fantastic, it looks really good. Of course you can't really comment until we see everything on and in the sim, but so far so good I'd say, so well done chaps, it's looking really nice. Now let's move outside, let's step out of the cockpit, walk down the galley, hop out the door, hopefully there's a jet bridge there or something to allow us to get out, and take a look at the aircraft from the outside. Modelling is amazing here. The whole exterior has seen a big rework, it looks great. And although we don't get too close to the aircraft, and there clearly is some issues in terms of doors and windows that need to be actually put into the aircraft, they've certainly got a good start here. Now they did say they have difficulties with the nose. Getting that distinctive A350 nose seems to be a challenge for some of the developers here, and to be honest, who can blame them? It is a very interesting shape. But they seem to be doing a good job with it. Now moving towards the engines of the aircraft, they've actually started putting some animations on the engines now, which is of course vital for an aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim. You know, it can't be a sitting bit of Play-Doh, it has to move. They're looking pretty good, although animations are early days here. It's nice to see that modelling has reached a stage where they think they can start animating it. And let's do the final bit of the video now, looking at the aircraft in the sim. It looks decent, although I do think there are some proportion issues with the gear. That might just be me, but if it isn't me, make sure you tell me down in the comments. You know, if I'm wrong, do be sure to correct me, but I think that certainly needs a bit of work in my opinion. But all in all, it looks very good. Now we can see the aircraft in action in the simulator, and I know we haven't really talked about systems in this video, but you can see the systems in play somewhat. The custom primary flight display, still very early days, although this project has been around for 2 years or so, but it's nice to see it's moved on at a rate where they're starting to get a bit comfortable showing us everything. Hopefully it will continue on. I have faith in this project. I know it hasn't been the most revealing update, but maybe they're just keeping it secret to surprise us. I wish them all the luck. They've got 10,000 members, or close to 10,000 members on their Discord. We've got almost 20,000 members or subscribers on this YouTube channel, so be sure to check them out. What do you guys think? Do you think the Digital Flight Dynamics A350 is going well? Do you think it will succeed? And do you think we'll end up with a good aircraft here? Or do you think it's still a bit misty and it's still a bit foggy and we need to wait to see how they do? From me today, that is all. I hope you've enjoyed this in-depth video. You can check out the A350 video, Discover 350 episode 2 down below. From me today, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed, and check out my Amazon affiliate links for all the stuff I use to fly, film and edit down below. I'll see you guys around. Bye bye.